Hey guys, it's Deborah. I wanted to talk to you about December 10th and all the stuff that's going on with YouTube. I wasn't going to do a video about it, and I was debating, should I have some sort of backup source? Should I have let you guys know how to reach me or whatever? I'm still praying on all of that, but I don't really know what's going to happen. I just think that this is something I have to address because I asked the Lord about December 10th, and I was like, Lord, can you show me what's going on? And I think I got shown a few things. So I want to share that. I know it's pretty much probably December 10th in certain places. Right now, for me, it is not. It is still December 9th. But I thought before it gets, any further along, I don't think all of a sudden some big swift thing is going to just swoop in and take out all the channels. But there are some fishy things about December 10th that I think that Christian channels should be aware of. So yeah, I'm going to get into the first thing. Like I said, I asked the Lord and these things came to me. So, okay, let's get into it. First of all, what is happening in the sun, moon, and stars on December 10th? Okay, so there's something crazy. It says, when and where to watch a rare cold moon kiss this week as Venus and Saturn appear super close. So basically something is happening with Venus and Saturn on December 10th, and it's actually super rare. So yeah, let's read that. It says, are you ready for a rare planetary kiss and the final full moon of the year? Go outside after dark this month in the northern hemisphere and you can see the glittering stars of winter rising in the east in a cold, crisp, and hopefully clear sky. From awesome Orion to scintillating Sirius. However, the year's best seasonal star fields take a back seat this week as the moon and two planets each do something rather eye-catching. So I won't read much more about it, but the point is it's on December 10th, and we know there'll be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. So that's pretty weird that this is happening. Now, I looked into a little bit about Saturn. Now, it's funny because look what it says here, this article. Alien, Antichrist, UFOs, and aliens. Antichrist and the end of days. I don't even remember where this article was from. I was just looking up Saturn, and it says 666, the worship of Saturn and his relationship to the beast of Revelation. Like, what the heck? I don't know what I looked up, but it just came up that this is related to Saturn. So on December 10th, when all this shutdown stuff might happen of possibly, channels that aren't commercially viable might happen. So here you see a bit about the Lord of the Rings and Saturn. It seems there's something to do with, I just did a video on this. So if you go to my previous video, I think it was 2 videos ago, I did on the earth being hollow, and I related it to the Lord of the Rings. And here, this is some sort of symbolic thing with Saturn. So it says South Pole of Saturn. It looks like the eye. It said the Lord of the Rings. He's the Lord of the Ring. So I don't have all the answers, but I haven't heard anybody talk about this, that on December 10th, there's this kiss of basically all good and evil, and I'll show you why. It's like two births. It's like a good and evil kiss on December 10th. Now, do they know more than we know? I don't know, but we're supposed to be looking at the sun, moon, and stars, and that's something I never heard about, and I think Christian channels should know what's going on. So yeah, Saturn is looked at as, I guess, symbol of Antichrist, evil, and the Lord of the Rings is not a good lord. Sauron is Saturn, and that was in that movie again. So yeah, anyway. And in the previous video I talked about the spiral representing a portal opening. Could there be a portal opening? Could they be the enemy hoping that the portal's opening on December 10th? I don't know. So let's look at, that's Saturn. So it's Saturn and Venus are kissing apparently. So they're coming together. And I want to see, what does Venus represent? It's the Star of Bethlehem. So it's believed that the Star of Bethlehem was Venus, the brightest star in the sky. The ancients referred to precisely two planets as morning stars. And they were called the morning star because, well, I won't get into it, but the point is, that they thought Venus was Bethlehem, the Bethlehem star. It's almost like good and evil colliding on December 10th. And this relating to a portal and the Lord of the Rings, which is like the Antichrist. Could there be something to do with almost two births? I know on Exalted Lamb 1, Aaron always talks about the twin births. And I actually let him know that my twins were born on 118. Like, if you look at their birthday, which 811 is like another form of like 911. It's a whole long thing, but it's kind of crazy because he had twins as well. And this whole twin birth, it's almost like the birth of the Antichrist and the birth of the man-child in Revelation 12, that it'll be like simultaneously. I mean, that would be absolutely crazy if it was like, you know, a warning that this was about to happen, like the birth of the man-child, and at the same time the dragon, Revelation 12, flinging the stars down to the earth, which represents, you know, fallen angels, and then him coming down, you know, like full of wrath, and basically that representing Saturn, and the Bethlehem star representing the man-child. Like, this is, I don't think that is what is going to happen, to be honest. Like, I'm not saying, setting a date or something. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen. I'm saying, like, I think the powers that be obviously have some sort of idea about December 10th, because there is this sign in the sun, moon, and stars. Well, basically in the planets. And so I do think that's interesting that it lines up. And I asked the Lord about all this, and then I just found that right away. And then one other thing. So, yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence. And I'll talk a little bit more about my other thoughts about December 10th and what people should do. Not that I'm telling them what to do, just my thoughts on it. But yeah, like, you have that verse that talks about in Luke 21:25, and there will be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. And basically that is going to be, you know, a sign of his coming. And then we'll know that we're approaching that time. So I think it's wrong to look at that. So that was one that's happening on December 10th. So this is another thing out of nowhere that I realized. I wouldn't say out of nowhere, I would say after I asked. All Nobel Prizes are given on December 10th. So listen to this, between 1901 and 2019. Now, do you see these numbers? 1901 and 2019. It's like Nobel Prizes started on basically 911. If you flip those numbers around, like 1901. And I just find it's funny. 1901, 2019. The Nobel Prizes and the prize in economic science were awarded 597 times to 950 people and organizations, with some receiving the Nobel Prize more than once. This makes a total of 919 individuals. There's again with the 919. 1901, 2019, 919. I don't know exactly what that means, but we all know 911 is an issue. So like 9/11, whatever. So is it interesting that all peace prizes are given on December 10th? That is another interesting thing. And it was from the start that I did some research on it. These are some Nobel Prize winners. And this, from the start, there was, I can't remember why, but after whoever's death, oh gosh, I can't even remember how it started, but I did the research, and it was, you know, it was going to be a tradition that, I guess the guy who started the Nobel Peace Prize, it was going to be a tradition that it was always on December 10th. There we go again with December 10th. And now look at, there's many people, obviously, they said how many people won the prize, Nobel Prize, but look at these Nobel Peace Prize winners. They're very end-time character-y people. Now, not so much Mother Teresa, but in a way, Mother Teresa represents Catholicism, I believe, you know, the Pope, and there's a lot of controversy around her, which shocked me. I'm just like, well, it didn't really shock me, but I was like, you know, everybody thinks only good, but man, does it get deep and dark. And it's very related to the Roman Catholic Church and like money laundering and just all these things. So in a way, she represents part of the end times, you know, situation that we're in, the Catholic Church. Then you see Mandela. What do you hear constantly right now? The Mandela effect, okay? I'm not saying it means 100% something. I'm just saying it's very interesting that these three very prominent Nobel Prize winners, all given on December 10th, are really key players. And the Mandela effect right now is really being, you know, thrown around right now. I'm not talking about it in this video. I'm just saying that that's another thing. And then, well, we have former President Barack Obama, and yeah, he's an end-time figure. So won't even go into that right now. But the point of the matter is, all these prizes were given on December 10th. And what does it represent? The Nobel Peace Prize is for people who are uniting the world, who are bringing peace to the world. And, Jesus said, I didn't come to bring peace. We will have peace in the 1,000-year reign, but I didn't come to bring peace but a sword. And he basically said, when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them. And when the Tower of Babel was built and everybody was trying to unite as one, they're like, let us be one, let us build and, to reach God. And I don't remember the verse, but basically, they were trying to unite. That was shut down. And what's going to happen in the end? There's going to be one world religion, one, leader, the Antichrist, Saturn. So the Lord of the Rings. So basically, I'm saying there's some tie-ins here. And anybody in the comment wants to, tell me what they think, how it ties in even more or whatever. But I find this very interesting. All I asked was the Lord was about December 10th, about YouTube. And here I find out that the Venus and the star of Bethlehem, Venus, and Saturn, representing the Antichrist, are going to collide. And Saturn, the ring, represents like a portal. And then you have this Nobel Peace Prize on December 10th that everybody is awarded. And all those 919 numbers, it was made in 1901. Now it's 2019, and there was like 919 recipients, I think it was. Like, it's just, I don't know. It feels like that date being picked for YouTube to say, I have the right to take down any channels that aren't monetarily, commercially viable. Basically, to pick that random day, I find interesting. And things are happening in the sun, moon, and stars on that day, like I said, and also that things have happened for all these years on that day. And that day was not chosen by an accident. So it's just something to think about. Like, what is going on here? It's not to bring in fear. It's just to say we're watching and we are asking the Lord for discernment on it. Now I want to touch on the fact that many, many, many channels, seems recently, are monetizing. So this whole December 10th came along, and then you see people monetizing their channel or thinking about monetizing their channel. And I'm talking about Christian channels. This is always just talking about Christian channels, and they're wrestling with the idea, things like that. I'm just going to give my 2 cents and a experience that I had with channel monetization. So I had a previous channel. The channel that I'm doing right now is small. It's new. I've only been doing it for a month. And thank you for everybody who subscribed. I really, really appreciate it. I can't wait to meet you guys all up in heaven soon at, the wedding supper of the Lamb. And thank you for 300 subscribers in a month. But I had like almost 4,000 subscribers on my other channel. And I'll just give you a little story time about what happened. And then I'll talk to you about what I think with people monetizing right now. So when I, so out of the blue, how did it all go down? I'm trying to think. Okay, so I was using a lot of copyrighted material, and not because I was trying to steal. Honestly, I came on YouTube just randomly. Like, I just posted a few videos and it was just so random. Then people started subscribing and I was like, hey, what is this? Like, I don't know the rules. That was all my fault. So I used videos and content and stuff just thinking I'm not making any money. So what does it matter? And so inevitably, after being on YouTube for about 9 months, I ended up getting a strike. And then I ended up getting 2 strikes. And as soon as I got these strikes, all of a sudden, I got all these people unsubscribing. But I noticed it was the same time that a bunch of Christian channels stopped growing or people were unsubscribing. It'd be like in the hundreds, like every day. By the end, I lost almost 1,000 subscribers just over like a couple of weeks. So I knew it was right after the strikes. Something was going on. I could tell people were being unsubscribed because it wasn't like my content, like it hadn't changed in all that time. So it was people being unsubscribed. So anyway, what happened was, nowhere, my channel got monetized. So all of a sudden they're like, congratulations, you've been monetized. I'm like, what? I've been monetized? And I was like, what? Out of nowhere. I mean, I didn't ask to be monetized. So I was like, oh my gosh, I've been monetized? And they were talking about me making money. They sent me like how to set up my banking information, Google ads and everything. So here I am, like getting all these ads on my video and everything. But at the same time, my channel was dropping, going down every day, like 10s or 50s or hundreds of people just gone. And these strikes were going to stay on for like, I think they said like, it was like 3 months or something. I just got so tired of it because the channel was just like dwindling. It was like going, like I said, I think I had like 3,500 or something. And then like, maybe I had 3,800. Oh, all I know is, it was right under 4,000. By the end, I was down to like 2,900. Like, it was just So I got so tired of it that I was like, I'm deleting this channel. I mean, I'm not saying that was the right decision, but I was so mad at seeing it just, and it's not about the subscribers, but I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. Like, are people not wanting to watch? Is it YouTube? Are they just against me? Are they watching me? I felt like I was being watched. It felt creepy. It was just, there was many reasons, but that was a big reason. And I just said, I'm deleting the channel. Like, either I'm going to start fresh, or I'm just going to take time with the Lord. I gave my contact information. I had people who could reach me on Facebook and different things. And I didn't want to just abandon people, but it was a struggle. I couldn't do it anymore. I probably could have, like, with the Lord's strength, but at that point I was done in my own personal strength. So I just said, that's it, because I just felt I was being watched, and it was just awful. And let me tell you, with the monetization and the commercials, ads were coming on my channel that I didn't agree with. And that's my big pet peeve, is that, okay, and honestly, I'm not judging you if you've monetized. I'm saying, listen, you do not know what ads are playing through your videos. So what happened was I ended up seeing ads about vaccines and stuff. And I have talked in the past about having, children have a vaccine injury. Well, here I am having these vaccine ads play on my channel. It's like the opposite of what I was promoting. And then I've also seen other channels that promote like modesty, like women's modesty, like Christian channels about dressing, and their ads will pop up on their videos. I remember there was one time where there was like all these like butts in a row, like men and women in tight jeans, and they were advertising their jeans. It was just their butts. And I'm like, okay, like, cause the channel is about, like devoting their life to God and dressing very modestly. Like the woman on the channel, she only wears skirts and all this stuff, but yet I was so fun. It just like hit me right away. I'm like, okay, these are some tight jeans all strewn across my face. And it's like, you don't know. And so all I know is for me, I didn't feel good about it at all. Like, I just felt horrible. Like, I was like, no, the monetization isn't right. But then it just really made it stronger for me to realize that I don't know what people are seeing, and I'm promoting it because it's on my channel. So again, I'm sorry if it sounds judgmental. All I know is that was my experience. It was story time. Literally, this is what happened to me. I never wanted to monetize it. And I feel like when I was monetized, I was under control. Like, when, like, say you owe debt to somebody, like they kind of control you. Once there's money involved, something about that whole relationship switches. One, you could become to the point where it's hard to give it up. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but well, I guess it is that. It's just hard to give it up. Like, there's a level of control once money comes into play, and you get more addicted to the thing. It's harder to just detach yourself from it. All I know is it brought no good to me. It brought no good to me. It just brought more prying eyes, and I felt like they were taking me down by building me up to take me down. So that's my story, and I didn't like the ads that played on it, so it didn't work out. And then you have this verse. It says, no servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and mammon. Luke 16:13. Now, am I saying you can never make money as a pastor or whatever? You clearly have to live. A worker is worth his wages and all that kind of stuff. I don't know where the line draws. And honestly, it's a personal thing. This is not a salvation issue. It's personal between you and your walk with the Lord. For me, it was like I was serving two masters, because it started to feel like I was working for YouTube instead of it was a ministry. Like, if I don't agree with one of their ads, I can't say anything. They're paying me. Like, I can't be like, those ads aren't, there's a level of control, and they know that. And then it just felt like that was easier to wait to almost, okay, here's my real thing. What if this is a scare tactic to make all these Christian channels monetize out of nowhere, and then they can control you and even more shut you down? I don't know. There's something, it's like a switch bait thing. I don't know. Like, when I got monetized, that's when all the subscribers dropped. And that's when I got my, the monetization happened the same day as the strikes. Come on, that's fishy. The same day, it was like, congratulations, you've been monetized. Strike. And then it was like hundreds of people unsubscribing day after day. I don't know. What if this is like a bait and switch? I don't even know this saying, but where it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to shut you all down. Better monetize to make yourself commercially viable. And then once you're monetized, those are the ones that like we take out. I don't know, but man, pray about it if you have a channel. So is this goodbye to Christian channels? Is that what's going to happen today or tomorrow, whatever day you're in? YouTube is a money-making situation. So they do want small channels because they want them eventually to grow. I think this is specifically for, you know, it's aimed at certain genres that they are no longer wanting on their space. And as a business, I understand why. I mean, you're only going to get bad publicity. Like, they would allow everybody on their space probably to make money. Who knows what kind of horrible, like, Nazis and, like, you know, KKK, whatever, like, people, like, they're going to allow lots of stuff because, you know, it's a money thing. But, I mean, I'm sure there's some moral people within YouTube. But at the same time, there's a spiritual level. You know, we fight against, not against flesh and blood, but blood against, but against principalities. So I think that there's that level clearly, and it all comes down to that in the end, the battle between good and evil. But on the lower level of the administrative side of it and the legal side of it, I think they just don't want channels that are messy. They want like this little puppy dog, cute doggy videos, kitten videos, and people, you know, doing hair tutorials and people like reviewing cars and reviewing, I don't know, different products and, you know, cooking and all that kind of stuff, which I see as enjoyable things. That's on the administrative legal level, but on the higher spiritual level, there is that battle, and that's where Christianity and Christian channels do have to go. So there could be a possibility that it will go down like that if YouTube is at the point where they see that the spiritual battle is so high that they just need to take it out. But if we're still not really at the very end, then I think they're going to want to still make as much money as possible. So in total, I would just say at this point, I don't think immediately a bunch of channels are going to go. I think they're going to target maybe certain channels and not just Christian channels, other genres, which they find controversial, and they're going to just target them and kind of, you know, they could have shut them down a long time ago, actually. Legally, they always have the power. Like, it's their space, and people don't really win that many legal battles, you know, fighting YouTube. I mean, come on. So they always kind of had the right and way to do it, but I think now it's more like a warning. And again, on the just the physical level, the administrative legal level, I think it's more about just making people realize, like, we're the boss. You have to, like, adhere to our rules. Enough with, you know, the conspiracy theories, and because there's like a lot of non-Christian channels that they don't like either. But on the spiritual level, I think we are getting so close to that dual birth, the man-child being caught up, and then the Antichrist being born, as in becoming the, you know, the son of perdition, like not just the man of sin. So, you know, like being indwelt with with the dragon. So basically what I'm saying is that there is that possibility that this is it, and this is the takedown. And like I said, Venus and Saturn are kissing on that day, and December 10th is clearly, apparently, like, you know, really important as a day of peace and all that kind of stuff with this Nobel Peace Prize stuff. So there is this something is going on, but at the same time, I just don't think it's going to be immediate. So I think there could be the level of this trick where it's like scaring these Christian channels into monetizing and making everybody just, you know, do that against what maybe they feel like they should, just so that they don't get deleted. This is where the Holy Spirit comes into play in your personal life and your personal walk. You know, it's just, you talk to him, ask him personally, if you have a channel, what should you do? Maybe some channels he's going to say, you need to stop, you need to come off. Maybe some channels he will say you need to monetize. I don't know. It wasn't for me, but maybe he's going to say, like, if you don't, then you got to go and you need to be on right now. Because remember, there was times in Jesus's ministry where they tried to catch him and make him king or try to do things to him, and he would sneak off because time wasn't ready. Like, he would find a way out of it. He could have just been like, well, when the time comes, and, you know, I'm the Lord, and, you know, I don't need to sneak away or whatever. No, sometimes, like, we're in this earthly realm, so there's sometimes times when the Lord might say, you know, you have to do this within, you know, moral, legal things, and you have to be, you know, wise about this. And so maybe wisdom says you do have to monetize. I don't know. But again, these ads that are playing a lot of times are not what you might, you know, agree with. So you have to think about that. You're never going to know, because so my ad will show different for me in Canada than it's going to in somebody in, you know, the Ukraine, or somebody in Germany, or somebody in the United States, or in China. You have to take on that responsibility that might happen. You have no idea what they're seeing on your video. Okay, so then like I said, I've been through it before. I'm not doing that again for sure. I mean, I have to be at 1,000 subscribers to get monetized, but I would not do it. Like, that is not something that's going to be for me. But again, don't be rushed into it. Do it because you feel like the Lord is telling you for sure you're supposed to do this, and consider all the factors. You could be being tricked, and even in your mind, you have to really consider everything. Like I said, the ads. So, yeah, I always put in the description box my website. It's just like this little website I produced because I had written that book to leave behind for people. So again, if you're looking for a book to leave behind, Lord completely led me to write this book. It's not about money. I can't print it for free. It's an Amazon book. It just comes through Amazon, and it was completely the Lord leading me. I don't have, I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because totally that's what I was supposed to do, and you have to pay to have the book produce it. You can't do it for free. So, because people have, approached me about that before. Anyway, it's a book to witness to others about, as well as to leave behind. The Lord showed me that it's a left behind book. That's why I was supposed to write it. So if you want to purchase that, it's in the description box below. But again, in that website, there's a link to my Facebook. I used to have an email, and I still do have it, but I rarely check it. I'm just so busy, overwhelmed with my regular life, that I don't really check it that often. So I'm really sorry if people have been emailing for my old channel. I had this other email, but to be honest, Facebook would probably be the best way, just to get on Facebook. And like I said, if you go to, I'm only telling you this too because in case it is goodbye, maybe you might want to just jot it down or just jump on there and friend me on Facebook, because then we can keep up. There's other means that other things I could get on, like GodTube, and I think it's BitChute, and I looked into it, and I just don't know. I'm still praying about it. I don't feel like I need to do something different at this point, but you never know. Anyway, so again, I don't think it's fully goodbye right now. I think it could be a trick, and I think there's many things happening in the sky that day, and other shenanigans going on that day. So, just be aware and be alert. Keep watching. And friend me on Facebook if you want. And I believe I will talk to you again soon. I really do. Or see you in the air. Let's hope. So until next time, guys, have a blessed day or evening. And God bless and shalom.